This video is a basic setup guide for routers using Tomato firmware. This video assumes that you have already flashed Tomato firmware to your device and that you are setting up your router for the first time. In this video, you will learn how to change the router's default password, how to sync the router's time zone, how to change the router identification name, and finally, how to set up and secure a wireless broadcast. The first thing I do when setting up Tomato is change the default administrator password. Although it is highly unlikely that anyone is standing by ready to hack your network the very moment you connect your router, it is a small detail that is sometimes overlooked, and overlooking this detail will leave your network vulnerable. Log into your router and navigate to Administration, Admin Access. Scroll down to the password area and enter a new password. You can change this again later. For now, enter a strong password and then re-enter it to confirm. Click Save. Since your password has changed, you'll immediately be logged out of the router. Simply use your new password and log in again. Proper time configuration isn't really necessary for a router to operate. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't set the right time. Here's why. The proper time will ensure that log files display the proper timestamp, which can help when troubleshooting. The proper time is also required for scheduling events, such as rebooting, restricting internet access at certain times of the day, and also for advanced users that use cron jobs to execute commands on a defined schedule. To sync your time, navigate to Basic, Time, choose your time zone and select Auto Daylight Savings Time. Choose your update frequency, such as every 4 hours, and finally, select the NTP time server for your region. And that's it. When finished, scroll down and click Save. Changing the router's identification is an optional step. However, it makes it easier to clearly identify the router when browsing your network. From the admin panel, navigate to Basic, Identification. Change the router name to something familiar. In my case, I'll enter ASUS. For the host name, I'll enter router. And if you are using a domain name for your network, enter it here. Since I am not, I'll leave this field blank. When you are finished, click Save. Now we will set up and secure a wireless broadcast. Navigate to Basic, Network. The first thing you will want to do is select the WAN type. The WAN type is how your router will access the internet. In most cases, you can leave this to the default setting DHCP. This simply means that your router receives a dynamic IP address from your internet service provider, which is typically the case for most residential home networks. If you have a business account with your ISP, or you have specifically requested a static IP address, you would select Static and enter the IP address and gateway IP address given to you by your ISP. A static IP address never changes and is typically used by businesses that run web servers. As a result, most internet service providers offer static IPs at an additional cost. The 3G option allows you to use a wireless USB Wi-Fi adapter to supply internet access to your network. This can be a really handy feature, especially if you are located in a remote area that does not provide cable or DSL internet access. The other settings are for advanced connectivity such as Cisco and VPN networks. Since these are beyond the scope of this basic configuration, we'll choose DHCP, which is what most of you will be using. Now, scroll down to the wireless area. From here, you can configure a 2.4 or 5 GHz wireless broadcast, or both. However, not all routers offer dual-band wireless functionality. Therefore, unless your router has dual-band capability, you may only have the option to configure a 2.4 GHz broadcast. First, enable the wireless broadcast and select the wireless mode from the drop-down list. Unless you are doing something advanced, such as creating a network bridge, simply choose Access Point. An access point is just that. It's an internet access point for wireless clients to access the internet. Now go to Wireless Network mode and choose your frequency spectrum. If you're not sure what to choose, just select Auto for now. Doing so will allow for wireless clients to connect to your network regardless of the spectrum they're using. However, keep in mind that the best performance is achieved when all devices are using the same wireless spectrum. Therefore, if your laptops, smartphones, and other devices use wireless N, you'll realize optimal throughput by ensuring that all devices use the same wireless setting. In my case, all of my devices are using wireless N. Just keep in mind that if you set yours to N only and you have an older laptop with a wireless G network card, that laptop will be unable to connect to your access point. If you're not sure, choose Auto, and you can come back and change this later once you've determined the wireless spectrum of your other devices. Now, enter a name for the wireless SSID. SSID stands for Service Set Identifier, which is basically a fancy acronym for the name of your wireless broadcast. Next to Channel, select Auto for now and let the router choose the best channel. For the channel width, choose 20 MHz. Under Security, select WPA to Personal. For the encryption type, choose AES. If, however, you have older wireless devices and you experience difficulty connecting, you may need to come back and change this to TKIP AES. We'll discuss channels, frequency bands, and encryption in another video when we optimize our wireless connectivity. A shared key is also known as a wireless password. For now, enter a strong password that you can remember. When finished, click Save. You should now be able to connect to the wireless access point. In Windows 7, click the network icon in the taskbar and locate your wireless SSID. Right-click and choose Connect. Then enter the security key and choose OK. And finally, open your internet browser and test your internet connection. Now, when you browse your network locations, you can quickly identify the device. From the Start menu, go to Computer, then click Network to browse network locations. If your router has USB ports, you can use it to facilitate network sharing to access files and folders from a central location.